What's up, y'all? This is Two Jersey Kids, episode, I guess, 22 and a half now, if we're going in that route. But I am one of your hosts, Adam Buckingham, alongside the best stick handler in the business, Gary Seisel. How you doing today, Gary? It's exciting.
I'm excited for this new format we got going on here that we're going to be presenting.
Do you want to explain to the folks out there, all the kids out there, what this format is going to be?
Yeah, so every week now, as you've seen in the past, I don't know how many months we've been doing this. We've been doing a Tuesday episode, which focuses on the games releasing this week. So we're still going to be doing that for people that enjoyed that and enjoyed us giving the information about the games. But we're basically just going to read off the list. It's going to be basic, a list of all the games releasing. We're not going to give too much information on them. That's for you to go and find on twojerseykids.com. But after we read off the list, we're going into a variety of topics that we are wanting to talk about. This week is going to be our top 3 favorite games of all time. And then the next week will be something different. So every week it's going to be a list of games releasing and then a topic of our choosing. Maybe a fan writes in and suggests something at Twitter.
At twojerseykids.com or at twojerseykids.
Yeah. But that's basically it. So, Adam, anything to do here? Anything to say before we delve in?
No. I mean, actually, I've been playing Pokemon Duel Links lately. You remember that Pokemon game that came out of nowhere for iOS?
Yes, I do.
Have you seen anything about it?
I've, aside from the somewhat negative reviews we saw, I haven't really delved too far into it. But what have you
People are
experienced?
just haters. I don't understand what they expect from an iOS game. I've been somewhat enjoying it. I like the aspect of collecting these little Pokemon figures that have different abilities when you spin the wheel. Has a lot of luck to it. Some strategy. You basically start off and when you're playing another person, you're on a board, kind of not a checkered board, but it's like a board with circles on the outside and there's circles in the middle that you cross into. And the objective of the game is to get one of your pieces over to this one tiny circle on the other team's side or the other player's side. The games last maybe, what I've been playing, because I've been playing lower ranked people, they last maybe a minute. I've beat somebody in 3 turns. So you just spawn, you spawn your Pokemon. Some Pokemon can go faster, but they're not as strong, so they move farther on the spaces. Some are stronger. They're better for staying back and fighting off people from your circle. So it's all like a strategic kind of chess match with your Pokemon and hoping that you luck out when you do eventually battle. But I haven't lost yet. I'm undefeated, so fuck all you haters. But yeah, I've been enjoying the game. I kind of like collecting stuff. It's very simplistic. It's nothing. It's like a normal iOS game. It's not going to be too in-depth like Hearthstone would be, but I've been kind of enjoying it. But before we get into the games releasing this week, what have you been doing, Gary? Just a
quick little overview. So past week's been interesting. I got a chance to play at the Wells Fargo Center. I got a chance to play a Rutgers alumni hockey game there. I played ice hockey, obviously, for Rutgers during my time in college, which ended recently. But yeah, I got to play at the Wells Fargo Center, which was simply amazing. It's something I've been wanting to do my entire life since I was a kid and thought I was going to the NHL. So that was awesome. Other than that, though, it's been the same old games. Battlefield 1. I've actually, because of this list that we were assembling, I'm going to have to tell you this before we actually started recording.
Great.
Because of this list we've been assembling, I've been getting really nostalgic. So I've been playing other games I haven't played in forever.
Nice, classic.
So I'll get more into what those games are.
Yeah.
In the list. So take the wheel.
All right, we're now going to go into the games releasing this week. I'm just going to give you the dates that they're releasing and the title. We have all the information and the gameplay links on our website, twojerseykids.com, so check it out. But we're just going to run through. Starting from Monday, January 30th, we have Disgaea 2 coming to the PC. Moving on to January 31st, we have Abzu, the PS4 retail game. I've been hearing good things. It's kind of like a Dirty-like thing, but sort of, Adventure Pop is also coming to PS4. We have Dex coming to PSVR. We also have Digimon Next World Order, because apparently there's Digimon games coming out, coming to PS4. Divide, which looked pretty cool, coming to PS4. Double Dragon 4 coming to PS4 and the PC. Dynasty Warriors Godseeker coming to PS4 and the PS Vita. That's pretty exciting. I know, everyone's excited. Geki Yaba Runner is coming to the Vita, so that's exciting too. Hand of Fate Deluxe Edition is coming to PS4. I've seen Hand of Fate constantly. I feel like it's been released so many times. I've been seeing it on the PSN store, but that's neither here nor there. Hitman, the complete first season, is coming to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I'm excited about this. It's giving you all the Season 1 locations from like the prologue, Paris, Sapienza, Marrakesh, Bangkok, Colorado, and Hokkaido. So that's kind of cool that they packaged it all in one into a normal game. We have Kill the Bad coming to PS4 and Xbox One. Knee Deep coming to PS4 and Xbox One, but Xbox One is releasing on February 3rd. Just keep that in mind. Limelight is coming to PS4. Fun fact, when I was searching for this game and gameplay links for this game to go into the list, every time I searched, everyone was misspelling the name of this game to Limelight with an M instead of an N. So I was having difficulty finding it. So the YouTube video that you find has the wrong name. Just be wary. Moving on, February 2nd, we have Fire Emblem's Hero coming to Android and iOS. Actually, another Nintendo game coming to iOS systems. It looks pretty cool, like in a JRPG style tile combat. Moving on to Lifespeed, also coming to 3DS. Now we're moving on to February 3rd. We're rolling through these. I kind of like moving through because sometimes we don't have much to say about these games because, we haven't played them at all. So, we just go off the title, or the gameplay links, which you can find here. We have Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World coming to 3DS. This game actually looked pretty adorable. I like the yarn games, like that aesthetics of that Nintendo has been doing with like Yoshi's Woolly World and Kirby, Epic Yarn or whatever it's called. I like that aesthetic. And the final one releasing this week is Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 Road to Boruto. That's a name, all right. That is a name. Coming to PS4, Xbox One, and it is also coming to PC on the 4th of February, which is a Saturday. Just keep that in mind. It's releasing on Steam, just so you know. But out of all of that, Gary didn't have time to look at things to be interested, so I'm calling him out on it now. Sorry, Gary.
No, that's really cool. Thank you.
But I was interested, mostly that struck out to me. Divide did kind of look cool, but Hitman, the complete first season, I've been hearing really good things about this Hitman, all the episodic content. It kind of seems like the series that would be meant for episodic things, so you can go through one episode and just do it constantly, get better at it, understand it more. But now they're releasing all the seasons or all the area scenarios in one massive pack, and I'm actually kind of interested in checking it out. So that's what I'm interested in. So yeah. Gary, any comments before we move on?
No, man, I am just eagerly awaiting the beginning of this glorious list that we're about to take part in. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a good time.
Just so you know, for why we decided to do this is we wanted to make this episode feel more personable because we felt like this, reading off the list, we weren't really putting our influences or our touches on that episode. So we want to give you more ridiculousness of us.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, exactly. I think that one of the things was really tough, I think, in the beginning of creating this podcast was that the fact that I felt like I couldn't, I was interested in the news, that's cool and all, but there was not enough that I could really talk about from the heart, and this is obviously completely different. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least.
It's all from the heart, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know. We are lovable. But we are getting into our topic of the week. What is our topic of the week? It is Two Jersey Kids, Adam and Gary's favorite top 3. We had to put them in only 3. We decided for some fucking reason we chose 3. Going through this list was a pain in the ass for me trying to decide. But we got our top 3. Shall we roll into them? I want to go first, Gary. Do you have any guesses? This will blow your mind. What this game is. I don't know if it'll blow your mind, but
considering you're saying it like that, I think you should just get right into it because I'm probably not going to guess it. So do it.
So we're going bottom to top. Really, honestly, ranking these is kind of arbitrary, honestly. Except for Gary, I know. His ranking is very specific.
The number 1 pick that's just the way it is.
But if you listen to Two Jersey Kids from the beginning, you should know what his number 1 pick is.
Yeah, but the other 2, they could very easily be changed out for other games, which is why we have honorable mentions at some point. So we'll get into that as well.
We can't even include all the games that would be in honorable mentions, but
no way.
We try to include some. So my number 3 is Super Mario Bros. Deluxe for the fucking Game Boy. Woo!
Wow.
I fucking love that game. I had to decide between this and multiple games in my honorable mention because I was trying to think about, as I was a young kid, I played the Game Boy Color like religiously. I had it wherever I went, and I was deciding between this and another one that was kind of shaped me for what type of gamer that I was into. And this game really showed me, it was basically Mario 1, just I guess for the Game Boy Color, it handled very nicely on the handheld. It was awesome. But it shaped for me what actual platforming games should be, what they should feel like. They shouldn't be like wonky, or they shouldn't run super fast. Yeah, that's a shot at you, Sonic. Fuck you. But this was grade A+ gameplay, and I loved it. I remember the first time being a little kid and finding that exploit at the top of the map on like World 2, I think. No, not World 2. World 1-2. Spoilers. If you fucking haven't played Mario, go play it. But that was mind-blowing. That I was like, shit, I got up here. What should I do? Can I keep running? I fucking kept running, and I was happy with what I found. But, yeah, I don't know. It introduced me to Nintendo. It introduced me to the iconic characters that are Nintendo: Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Peach. It had also, there was additional stuff you could do. Like, I think there was time attack somehow in it, and you could play as Luigi in different like variations of worlds. I really loved that game. Gary, did you have something?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a lot of people, especially our age, which is, by the way, like around 23, for people that haven't known that, apparently.
We're young, folks. Sorry.
A lot of people, I think, our age, their introduction to video games was through the Game Boy, or obviously through Nintendo 64. Obviously, it was also a bit, a console that a lot of people owned. But for me, especially, it was like the original Game Boy. I had Super Mario 2. I had Kirby's Dream Land, and those games were like just something I just remember from my childhood, playing those games all the time. And the bitch of trying to play them in the dark before they actually had lighting. So
you remember that? You remember that little contraption?
Thing?
Yeah, the little like I don't know what little light that came off of it was the whole most. It was the worst light possible. It didn't show anything.
It had a glare on the screen. It was dumb.
It was dumb, but I still used it so I could play.
Damn right.
My eyes probably were not for the better for using that.
For sure.
But yeah, this game sort of shaped me of how I liked games, and taking it everywhere basically with the Game Boy Color made it awesome. So, but we shall move on to Gary's. What's your number 3? What'd you pick?
Number 3 was the Uncharted series. Now, especially Uncharted 2, I felt like that was the strongest of the entire. It really isn't a trilogy anymore, but the entire series. So the thing about this game was when I first played this game, I got it as a freebie basically in the purchase of my PS3, which was like, I guess, in 2009. And yeah, and I thought like, oh.
Wait, quick question. You got Uncharted 2 as a freebie or Uncharted Drake's Fortune?
The first Uncharted, yeah. Okay. So I got that as a freebie with the purchase of my PS3, and I thought like, oh, this is just one of those lame ass games they throw in because because they can. So I played it one day.
You're like, shit.
Well, I was playing Resistance 2 at the time. Okay, that's how far we're going back here. But I
Solid
took a break.
Game, though.
Great game. And I started playing Uncharted 2, God damn it, the first Uncharted, and I was like, holy shit, this game is surprisingly amazing looking. It sounds awesome. So anyway, that's where the love started. But the thing about this series that I really thought was awesome is that like Naughty Dog once again nailed it. They have like awesome characters. All of them are likable. They're all real. And in true Naughty Dog fashion, they make you care about the story and the characters. So like you have like Drake, Elena, Sully, which I guess you could say were like the 3 like real main characters throughout the entire thing. And you just really cared about them. And obviously the gameplay was awesome. It was really fluid. It was basically Indiana Jones in video game form with just different people and different faces. The worlds were amazingly designed. You had in Uncharted 2, you were going through where you're looking for Shambhala. And then in Uncharted 3, you're obviously looking for like the more of like the desert. I think it was Lawrence of Arabia. I can't remember the exact place you were trying to find in that game. But needless to say, like the worlds were just so brilliantly designed. And it was just the combination of the characters, the voice acting, the story, and obviously the attention to detail in this game that makes it my number 3 choice. And especially, obviously, Uncharted 2. So that is all I got to say about that.
So you're one of those people that think Uncharted 2 is better than Uncharted 3.
Well, that's the thing, though. I don't know why some people were like really like somewhat negative towards Uncharted 3. I'm not sure why. I thought that game was really good too.
I think Uncharted 3 is the better version, but that's just me.
Yeah. See, I mean, I personally I liked all of them, just about equally. But if I had to choose one, I would say Uncharted 2. I don't know. There's just something about that game.
Because Uncharted 2 felt like it was just like not up-res, but it was like a better version of Uncharted 1. But Uncharted 3 felt like it was taking it in a different but better direction. That was just my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the one thing Uncharted 2 did better. One thing about Uncharted 2 that was just amazing was the fact that they finally fixed or improved the gunplay. If you remember Uncharted 1, the gunplay was really awkward and the aiming wasn't really there. Like, they didn't have aim assist almost, it felt like. That sucked. And if you also remember, we're going back into the days here where they had that stupid motion controller thing.
Six-axis controller, so you throw grenades with the controller.
Yeah, that was incredibly dumb, and obviously they fixed that as well. So a lot of strides they took in Uncharted 2, which what I guess would make that game more of my my preference if I were to go back and play one. So
nice.
That's all.
But keeping it in with. I'm going to go with my number 2, but keeping it with Naughty Dog, it is my number 2 with The Last of Us, though. Not Uncharted, but The Last of Us. Because I think The Last of Us is the best game in the Naughty Dog genre or creations, but that may be for another time. But I think this was a dark turn for Naughty Dog. It felt refreshing doing a narrative in like a zombie apocalypse, but it didn't focus too much on the zombies, or clickers, as you would say. It focused more on the life that was living kind of in this situation. The setting was like flushed out. I really enjoyed all the linear levels. It felt large but yet contained with all the collectibles and everything you could find. Every chapter felt differently with a completely new environment. So one chapter is really snowy. One chapter is you're strolling through a college, which was really cool. One chapter you're in the woods. Fantastic setting. I mean, they perfected it with Uncharted, and they put it into The Last of Us with a different spin, dystopian vibe, which I really love. I think Joel and Ellie were a perfect duo. I like their meshing together of different sassiness. Ellie with Joel made you care about them whenever anything bad happened. Like for example, when I found out what was going to happen to Ellie at the end of the game or in the middle of the game, when that freaky guy was trying to be freaky with Ellie, which was creepy. I was like, "Fuck you! You're gonna die, motherfucker! I'm gonna kill you." That was my opinion. I was hoping that I would, and I was. Spoilers, I was rewarded. But even that, every character was flushed out. No matter, I think it was Dave was in Pittsburgh, I believe. Was that his name, Dave?
I can't remember, but I think you're right, though. I remember the character.
Kind of like a bastard kind of character, really, like kind of a douche. But was fleshed out enough that you were able to go through different houses, and you found that he actually had a partner, and you left a note and kind of basically said that this guy was a dick, but you were able to give it to him, not give it to him. It didn't affect the story at all, just their interactions, that's another thing I enjoyed about this game. Just the slight interactions, it made it feel like these were actual people that you're kind of taking care of or you're playing as. Ellie's just talking about random like movie posters or like the pinball machine. It felt like these were real characters that I enjoyed. Obviously, it's Naughty Dog, so it's a well-crafted story. Naughty Dog's still the best in the business when it comes to storytelling and doing it in cutscene format. It looks amazing every time. And basically, the game felt like really visceral. You could just every time you try to kill or you had to kill a human, they made it like you had to feel that you were killing them with all the sounds. Today, day and age, when you kill somebody, you just like shoot them. In the video game, you'd shoot them and they just drop, or you choke them out quickly. But this, you felt it every time you choke someone out. You could feel them squirming, the sounds that they were making. You felt it every time a clicker came. You heard it and you felt you were terrified. The one portion of that game where I think you probably remember. I'm pretty certain everybody remembers it. The game wasn't that scary, but this point it was very suspenseful. It was when you're in the dark room, you had to get the generators back on, you had to go into one, get a key card, and then run past all the clickers. Fucking scary or suspenseful as hell. That moment, I was freaked out. And he had the music in the background going real loud. I don't know. Last of Us is... I don't think can be beat. But
it's Naughty Dog's genius. They're just the best. It's like I said with Uncharted. Even they're the best at making great stories that you actually care about, and the characters obviously that you care about. So they're just amazing what they do.
That's what I'm excited for when they get they do something different from The Last of Us, because they have Last of Us Part 2 coming out. But what are they going to do? What's their other project? Because their studio is large enough, so they're working on something else. So I'm pretty pumped. Maybe it'll take the mantle of The Last of Us for me. But Gary, what's your number 2?
Number 2 is Elder Scrolls of Oblivion. Now, that might be somewhat blasphemous to a lot of people that think that Morrowind is the greatest thing ever made, but
or Skyrim. Fuck those people.
I was too young to enjoy Morrowind, and Skyrim, as much as I like that game, it just doesn't compare to this version. So Elder Scrolls of Oblivion was, I guess, my second introduction. This sucks because the game above this is like my introduction to RPGs, but this was also another game that kind of got me into RPGs as well, especially open world RPGs. The game, like the world itself, was huge, massive. It was beautiful at the time. While the main story could have been like kind of repetitive and boring, I felt that the side quests were like really awesome in the game. You had the Dark Brotherhood, which was just brilliantly done. You had Lucien Lachance, who was a great character, made you feel badass. He was badass. And not to mention, like, one thing I think that separates this game from Skyrim is the fact that I thought that all the quests in the game were kind of just, there was a little more like creativity in them, a little more cleverness, I guess. Like, for example, with the Dark Brotherhood that I just mentioned, like the missions in that game, it wasn't just like, okay, this is your contract. You have 3 contracts. You gotta go and kill these people in any way that you see fit. That's how it was in Skyrim. In Oblivion, you had the first real mission you had to do with the Dark Brotherhood was kill a pirate, or was it kill a pirate or kill a guy in Bruma? Well, either way, the guy in Bruma that you have to kill is an old man. He sits down in his chair every night and relaxes. Well, you could go in there and kill him and his bodyguard if you want to, just outright. Just go in there and slaughter them. Or you can sneak in, go up to the top of his attic, untie some little strings, and drop a goddamn boar head on him, killing him. That was what was amazing about this game. I like the fact that they had creativity in all the side quests, especially the Dark Brotherhood quest line. But like, obviously, there was the Thieves Guild was amazing. Especially the last mission of that game was like you had to steal an Elder Scroll. I'm sure you're familiar with that, Adam. But yep. Of course, in my PS3 experience, which was heavily bugged thanks to a shitty port by Bethesda and the fact that PS3 was extremely hard to program for, the fact that I had this on the PS3, the last mission of that quest line was bugged. So if I got caught at any point in time, I would not be able to complete the quest because you would try to reload in, and they would easily detect you or already detect you. And it was just a complete disaster. But I finished it the first time perfectly.
Damn. That's impressive.
And it was badass. It was so intense. I will never forget it. But I mean, like I said, like the other side quests too, they had like the smaller ones, not like it wasn't like a Dark Brotherhood, a Thieves Guild, but like just a little like quest you stumble along the way. You run into people, you hear people talking about certain things. Like there was one where you have to investigate, I think it was like it was called Pale Pass. You had to basically, you find like a journal, a really old journal, and I think you go like step to step through this little like winding trail, and eventually you find a fort and you find out like the whole backstory behind there. But it was just really awesome. I thought this game had that charm that Skyrim really couldn't repeat. Yeah. And I just it was something about it, you know?
I felt like I think we've mentioned it before, but this felt like the side quest felt more like unique and different. It didn't feel like, oh, here, have a contract, go to a cave, fight some trolls, come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with, what are they called? The companions? Is that what they were called?
It was actually the Fighters Guild in that game. Yeah.
No, but there was weren't they not the Fighters Guild in Skyrim? Or am I thinking of something else?
Well, in Skyrim, yeah, it was the companions. You're correct.
Yeah, exactly. the Fighters Guild of Skyrim, which is basically just go out, take somebody out, and come back. Where Fighters Guild in this, what was the main? I'm losing my point here because I can't remember what the Fighters Guild was.
The Fighters Guild was like, damn, it's been so long since I played through that story. Oh Jesus, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, very embarrassing. But I'm pretty certain it was... actually, the Companions one, now that I think about it, was pretty cool with the whole werewolf thing. But
yeah, but that's the part of the problem I had. The thing about Skyrim that kind of pissed me off was how fast certain things went. Like that the Companions in Skyrim, you're like part of that group for like a day, maybe a quest, and they're like, oh, here, let's invite you into this dark cave and you can become a werewolf. Like, what is that? How does that make sense? I feel like sometimes they just try, like, in those specific quest lines in Skyrim, like, things were kind of just rushed too fast and it just felt like they were just trying to push you through to the next thing. And I just felt like there was no... Like I said, they just didn't have that charm, like that type of feeling about this game. Maybe it's the fact that I was also younger, too. When you're younger, you always have different experiences than you do when you're, 20 or however old you are.
Oh, I remember now. There was a rivalry between them and the Blackwood Company, and you were trying to oust them for being being actually killing somebody when they shouldn't have, kind of being dicks, basically. But yeah, I don't know. It just felt like in Oblivion. Actually, a better comparison would be the Dark Brotherhood quest in Oblivion versus Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim, where Skyrim was just go out, kill some more people. But in Oblivion, you ended up becoming... I don't know why they just didn't elect you Supreme Ruler at the end of Oblivion. The fact that you controlled basically every single guild, it seemed like.
Yeah.
You were the head of every single one.
What was really disappointing about Oblivion was at the very end of that main quest line, the main story. Yeah. You weren't declared emperor. Like, come on.
That seems obvious. Come on.
I understand, like, you had to have the dragon blood and everything and all that, but, like, I don't know, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I really hope the next Elder Scrolls game it gets back in touch with Oblivion style side quests. I don't know. I just like Oblivion more, so I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard people say Morrowind is better because they felt like that the world was more foreign and it felt like something different, and they felt like that Oblivion was more of just like the same old like mythical type of like. You know what I'm talking about? Like kind of like almost like a European style like world and everything, I guess you could call it. It just felt like it was kind of just like a regular old mythical world, and it was nothing new. But I don't really agree with that.
I went from Oblivion back to play Morrowind. Fucking had no clue what I was doing in Morrowind.
I heard the game was harder too because it didn't really give you as many pointers.
Yeah, I had no idea. And also I was a little kid, so I was like, I don't know. I got stuck. I forgot what the city was called. If I got stuck in this large city, I had no idea how to fast travel or get out of that city at all. I was lost. I was lost for like hours. I'm like, you know what? Fuck. I'm done. I gave up. But that actually kind of rolls into our honorable mentions because my honorable mention was Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I had to debate a long time figuring out what were my favorite games, and Oblivion was definitely one that got me into RPGs and everything. It's definitely it should be also in this list, but only 3. I had to decide which one would affect more. And me being a young lad, I felt like playing on the Game Boy Color was more in me in general. Also, random one out of there, Rayman Origins. I played on the Vita. I fucking love that game. I platinumed that game. I loved Rayman Origins. It was awesome. I never platinum Legends because I didn't like it as much for some reason. People like Legends more than Origins. I'm on the opposite bandwagon. I thought it was solid platforming. I thought it kind of brought me back to Mario days, platforming, and just felt right. It wasn't like you're running at full speed, trying to go as fast as humanly possible. It was great. You were finding secret paths to save these little, I don't even know what they're called, little blue people, basically Smurfs. Sorry if you're a Rayman fan, I'm sorry. But I loved Rayman Origins. Gary, you can go through yours now. I have 2 more, too, by the way.
Oh, all right. Well, for honorable mentions for me, it was a lot of games that I played growing up. I guess mean, I played all these games growing up, but these were like the really like the very beginning of my legit like gaming career, I guess you could say. So a lot of these are PC games. I have The Sims, SimCity, and Rise of Nations. Kind of a strange combination, but The Sims and SimCity, I guess, were like my first real introduction into like being able to create your own world. Basically, obviously, SimCity, you're designing the city, and The Sims, you're running an individual or individuals' lives. And it was just so much fun to have that freedom that you typically didn't have as a kid. Obviously, although I wish I kind of could be a kid again because I feel like I had more freedom. I don't know, whatever. But obviously, Rise of Nations was in there. I know Adam and I have played this game many times back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just so badass. It was like,
that's how basically... Fun fact to everyone out there, if you ever do trivia in the future of Two Jersey Kids, because we're going to be huge, we're just going to be huge. We're going to be all over the place. We're going to be the best. Fun fact, Rise of Nations was the first game I believe we've ever played together. It sort of brought our friendship. It solidified our friendship, I think. Playing Rise of Nations at your house. Fun fact to all of you.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a great game. I mean, for everyone or for people that aren't familiar, it's basically Civilization but real time. So you're not waiting for people to take turns. So if you're getting attacked by someone, you can't just sit there and build up everything and then hit the button and suddenly you have to do your turn or whatever. So this thing was real time. It was just a great time, a blast. Always chaotic. I felt like I was always defending myself or fighting somebody because who actually does the technology victory in these games? You always want to kill everybody.
Yeah.
But I didn't put this on my honorable mentions. This is going to blow your mind, I think, a little bit. Flight Simulator is the last one on my honorable mentions. Now, this game was the first game I think I ever played on my PC. It was something I played with my grandfather all the time. Because he used to be a pilot. So, Flight Simulator was definitely up there too. I was just, it can be kind of boring, but at the same time, it was a lot of fun to kind of just learn how to actually fly and do different things. It was cool. You could see different locations and
flight simulators were I always enjoyed those games. Being an aerospace engineer now, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
But my final two honorable mentions. One, which I was really debating on because it was also on the Game Boy Color between that and Mario. It was really tough, was Pokemon Blue. I love me some Pokemon, especially the first. That was my first introduction to the RPG style. That's basically, I know I said it was, Oblivion was my first introduction to open world RPGs. Pokemon was my introductions to kind of the JRPG styles, like baby RPG, essentially. Leveling up your characters, your Pokemon, and going out and fighting the boss, which is the gym leaders. I love Pokemon Blue. The only reason I like Blue more is because I like Squirtle more, so I got Blue. That's about it. That's the only reason I chose it. The final of my honorable mentions, which Gary is shocked that it's not my number one, was Halo 2. So
stunned. Unbelievably stunned.
Stunned. So that rolls into my number one, which is Halo 3. He's kind of shocked, but I sat and I really thought about this. I truly do love. I feel like Halo 2 for me was a better game. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it just as much as Halo 3. The multiplayer felt more competitive. It felt more like a competitive game online. Obviously, the story it left on a cliffhanger, which kind of sucked, but...
Worst ending ever. That's all I have to say about that. Terrible fucking ending. I was so hyped for that game. The ending pissed me the fuck off. But keep going.
Okay. Wow, this is the first time you interrupted me. That blew my mind. But but I came back and kept thinking, what do I remember from my childhood the most? And that is playing Halo 3 with my friends, playing the campaign. Really, it kind of goes against my point, but I don't remember too much of the story, except for I remember the fun times that I had with the campaign. What I remember about the story is all the different challenges and the bonuses for doing it with, like, co-opting with your friends, whether finding the skulls on random parts of the map. One of your friends found them, was like, let me show you. Well, co-op and go find it on this map. Whether it's actually using those skulls, which makes the game harder, or upping the difficulty on Legendary with those skulls, or just having the one skull that makes it more fun when you shoot grunts in the head where it explodes and goes, yay! I remember that. But Bungie, with the original Halo games, always made it fun for the campaign. They always found a way to make campaign fun for you and with other people as a first introduction to co-op campaigns. And I loved me some shit out of, well, I loved Halo 1 co-op campaign I loved the most, but I love Halo 3 co-op because it also rolls into the whole multiplayer. That is what I remember as my childhood the most, is playing with my friends Paul, John, Joey, Jake Deere, Matt Miller, Colin Katz, Jake Williams, and I think there are some more, Mike Shields maybe. Gary, unfortunately, didn't have 360, so he wasn't a part of the fun, but he came over and played.
I was actually not that. I was actually better at Halo 3 multiplayer than I was at Halo 2. This is before I actually started playing like first-person shooters online. Halo 2, I sucked. I was terrible at that game. But Halo 3, though, I was actually a lot better, which I kind of, I guess, falls in line with the fact that you thought that Halo 2 was more competitive.
Yeah. Halo 2 felt more like a tight and competitive game. I only got up to level 32, which I think there was like a level 50, but I never got close. However, Halo 3, because it felt like it was somehow easier. I don't know why, but I got really close to level 50. I think the closest I got was like 48 or 49 or something. I got this close, but it was always fun trying and getting together with your friends for Team Slayer and trying to work your way up that ladder. You never know when that the next level will hit, but when it does, it's fucking awesome. It's a great feeling because it's always there saying that's your highest level. But I also, the additional to this, which what Halo 2 didn't have online as much, was the custom matches, the ability in Forge mode to make your own matches. I remember Warthog Wars, or the craziest races that they would create online. I don't know if you know this, Gary, or played Halo 2 or Halo 3, but people would create matches create maps with like random ramps and flips in the air and everything with warthogs, and you had to go through, and if you fell off you would die. Also, Warthog Wars was basically you on like a set map over like the ocean on this one map, and you would crash into each other trying to knock people off. It was awesome. I remember playing that with Paul and Joey all the time. Then there's Hide and Seek, which is a classic. It was a Halo 2 game, or a Halo 2 custom game that moved on to Halo 3. Basically, one person is like the almighty, I guess, zombie, but they're like buffed up, and everybody else has camo, and they just basically try to hide from them. It's pretty straightforward. Then, in the role-playing aspect of the custom games, you have Cops and Robbers. I really love that game. So you have like a few people being the cops, which were blue, and everybody else would spawn in like these jail cells. So they couldn't get shot, but they were stuck in these jail cells, and the cops had to portray themselves as cops and tell them not to move. But you would have to try to break out and escape, and if you escaped, you basically won. Then there's a game called Fat Kid, which I remember, where it was just one zombie that would move really, really slow, and you, as like the rest of the party, had to try to escape using brute shots, which is like kind of like a puzzle, which was really cool. A puzzle of opening like little areas and getting through and jumping to different areas to try to escape. So you have people trying to fix or get the opening through, while other people shot the juggernaut, or I called it Juggernaut, not Fat Kid, but shot the zombie just with the brute shot to try to slow him down, which it never really did. And the final one that I could remember was Drive or Die, which was really fun. I remember playing it. You would go on Sand Trap, and you basically warthog or mongooses and drive around the outside and try to like drive really quickly, because the zombies would have swords and be super fast. So they would try to like jump out and like slice you from the from the vehicle. There it is. That's the word. And also, I remember this was actually my first LAN party game, shockingly enough, was Halo 3. I remember playing all-nighters with some of my friends, going over to, Nick Russo. Yeah, that's another one out there. His LAN party. Fun times. But that was my number one. I know this shocked you, Gary, but Halo 2 and Halo 3 are kind of there. It just came down to memories, basically, when it came to this. Yeah, frankly, I was considering Halo, the original Halo anyway, for this list as well, but it's definitely up in my favorite games of all time, but it's not like one of those games that
is definitely in my top 3. It's I don't know. It was hard. It was really hard. This list was really excruciatingly painful.
But the note is, we did not say top or the best 3 games. We said our favorite. So fuck all you. It's our opinion. So yeah, Gary.
That's not too nice.
Yeah. Well, if you want to bitch to us, you can bitch to us at 2 Jersey Kids on Twitter. We love to have you all. And if you're a new listener, we are not actually this mean, but if you are mean to us on Twitter, we honestly don't really care too much. But we love all the love. That's what we love. It's love. So, yeah, follow us on Twitter at 2 Jersey Kids. And remember to subscribe. Gary, what is your number 1? Shocking.
Number 1 is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Mind blown.
It might be mind-blowing for some people because KOTOR 2 was kind of considered by many people as a broken game because of all the stuff that was eventually cut out of it and a lot of the bugs that were part of the game. But I like this game actually more than the first one, even though I love the first one. I think it's one of probably the best Star Wars game ever made. But I like KOTOR 2. I thought that the game was like the much needed, dark, mature take on the Star Wars universe. You don't really see it a lot today. And I just felt like it felt more adult. You were constantly looking over your shoulder, looking over your back. You always felt like you were being hunted down because you were the last Jedi at the time. It was just like the soundtrack was great. It really created like a dreary tone or like a desperate kind of feeling to it. I guess, God, there's so much things I could say about this game. It's ridiculous. But one of the things that was different, I guess, about this game than other games I've ever played was the fact that it got me into the lore of the game. I actually went and read on like the Wikipedia or Wookieepedia.
Oh, puns!
I looked on Wikipedia and I read all the lore behind like a lot of the characters, a lot of the battles that you're a part of in this game or were a part of before the game actually took place. It was just one of those games that drove me to learn more about the story itself and the stuff that happened that set up the story of the second game.
I remember the twist of that game. You're about to get into the characters of the game, so it reminded me of the crazy twist that I did not expect at all. But you'll get into it.
Well, that's the thing. The characters in this game were fantastic. I thought they were better than the characters in KOTOR 1. I mean, I loved Bastila and Karth and all those characters, but you can't really beat Kreia. As much as I hated her when I was younger, I was stupid. This is
shocking, because I remember you used to bitch about her all the time.
Well, that's because I was an idiot, and I was 12 years old. But Kreia is an unforgettable character. She's so dark and mysterious, and you never really know what the hell she wants from you until it's almost too late. Atton was a great character with a great backstory. It was really disturbing because you learn through conversation that he was actually part of the Sith at one point and helped to murder countless Jedi. And basically, the only reason he left the Sith is because a Jedi he was killing basically saw into his mind and helped him feel the Force, and it really kind of scared the shit out of him. And basically, he left the Sith, ran away, became a smuggler, and it's very interesting. But I thought the characters in general just had great depth to them, which was another reason why I love this game. But the problem with this game that I think the thing that really sucks about this game is the fact that it had a lot of parts cut from the console version. So the game you play has a lot of cutscenes, a lot of the story taken from it.
A lot of meat.
Exactly. A lot of stuff that was like removed from the game that really would have helped explain the story better. I know a lot of people were confused by that when it first came out. But I had the chance of playing the PC version, which has it's a mod. It's called the Restoration. I think it's called the Restoration Content mod that has a lot of the cutscenes that were removed from the game actually put back in, and a lot of other things as well, placed back in the game. And it is amazing. The game's completely different. There's a lot of cutscenes, especially towards the end of the game, that were removed that are now in the game. And it was really just a fantastic experience. But I don't want to keep dragging this on. So overall, KOTOR 2 was like my first real delve, or the KOTOR series was my first real dive into the RPG genre. And for that, it will always be basically my favorite game. So KOTOR 2, love you. And I also love KOTOR 1, just in case anybody's freaking out right now because I chose KOTOR 2 over the first game. So, yes, sir.
Do you ever think this is because I love KOTOR too. I love KOTOR. I love KOTOR 1. I love KOTOR 2. You like 2 more than 1. I like 1 more than 2, but that's semantics. I can see either way. Because KOTOR 1 was kind of like a generic story. Not generic, but it felt more streamlined, like a simplistic story. But if maybe it had all the meat on KOTOR 2, maybe I would find it more, or I'd like it more.
The thing about I'm actually going to get into a theory I came up with today that really I never thought about it.
Blew your mind?
But the thing about KOTOR 1 was the thing about KOTOR 1 was the fact that it was the perfect Star Wars story. Like you basically felt like you were playing in a movie. It was great. But I just felt like KOTOR 2 had more of like a realistic, dark take on what Star Wars really could be. And I just felt like they explored. No. But what I'm going to get into now is I think that, first of all, the fact that KOTOR 3 never released really was devastating to me. And is still devastating to me because they went with an MMO, which overall sucked.
Stupid. Give me a break, but MMO.
I have a theory. I think that KOTOR and both, I guess, KOTOR 2 was made by Obsidian, but the first KOTOR was made by BioWare. I think that game paved the way for Mass Effect. Because if you think about it, KOTOR 1, it was like their first, I guess, like sci-fi type of RPG. And obviously they had experience with RPGs in the past. I mean, they had made other ones like Jade Empire, and I think Baldur's Gate, I think, was made by BioWare. I think. Don't crucify me if I'm wrong. I hope I'm right on that. That really is embarrassing if I'm wrong. But my theory is that this game paved the way for Mass Effect because they realized they could have success with a sci-fi RPG, but the only problem is that it was Star Wars, so it was very specific in the group of people it was targeting.
Good job, Gary. I think that you nailed it. Baldur's Gate.
Oh, sweet. I think that this game was obviously very specific in the fans that it was targeting. So they realized that, okay, we'll make an MMO that's focusing on Star Wars that'll satisfy the people that like KOTOR, and then we'll make a sci-fi RPG that's pure sci-fi. It doesn't have anything to do with Star Wars, and it can appeal to the masses basically. And as you see, Mass Effect was wildly successful. But that was just my theory. I thought about it today. I'm like, I think it really had an impact or influenced a lot of later decisions.
It definitely did with the decision tree and the morality aspect to it. I mean, I think all developers take their experiences from prior games and put them into their new ones. But mark my words, they better make a KOTOR 3. You and me have been wanting it for so long.
The only problem with that is that they claim to have tied up a lot of the story, the loose ends. They claim to have tied up a lot of them in the MMO. And believe me, I gave the MMO a chance. I played that game and it was free to play because it was so wildly successful. They were like, you know what? We're going to make it free to play now because it's so successful, even though it sucked. I gave that game a chance, but it just didn't have any of the feel of the KOTOR games. Yeah. It was such an MMO. And I mean, I like MMOs as much as the next guy, but you just don't fuck with this game. You don't fuck with it.
MMOs are great, but MMOs are never about the story, and you never get the full story experiences when you're by yourself just playing it, and it's tailored to you're watching it. You're not having a bunch of people roaming around the same area because you don't feel special when that happens. Yeah,
and that's true too. And it's like people are running around doing like the same task that you just did, and it's like, well, I just beat this. There shouldn't be any more enemies left, and like lo and behold, they're still like it's just not the same. It's so different, and it really kills me that KOTOR 3 probably is never going to happen, but I really would wish, I really hope that someday they remaster these two games for the Xbox One, because if there's one thing that would prompt me to buy that console, it would be that.
We need to tweet at Disney or EA, whoever controls the video game for Star Wars.
Well,
I guess EA
I don't even know
now,
anymore.
But tweet at EA, say, we want KOTOR. We want it now.
Well, I don't know if it's BioWare or who controls it now, because like LucasArts is no more. That's gone.
Well, EA has the rights to Battlefront, and I also think they also hired Amy Hennig for their new Star Wars game. So I think EA has sort of some rights to it. So fuck us. We're not ever going to get EA to do what we want.
Yeah, I know, right? Very depressing.
Fuck you, EA.
We're ending this on a very depressing note.
I don't know.
But
bold prediction this upcoming E3 or whatever that time frame, KOTOR 3 announced.
I would have I would go.
Legitimate orgasm.
If that is confirmed, I will make an hour-long celebratory podcast episode where I'm completely trashed and talking about KOTOR, my favorite moments. Mark my words. Mark it.
I wouldn't blame you. I may join you on that front. But that has been episode 22.5, 22 and a half, whatever you want to fucking call it. I guess we'll stick with the half because it's kind of in between. So, where we try to give... Oh, sorry, accidentally hit the mute button with my pop filter.
That was a little scary, actually.
Sorry. But... So these episodes, just as a reminder, we will go through the list of the games coming out and where they're coming for. You can find the more in-depth game summaries of the game and also the gameplay links provided at twojerseykids.com. It'll probably be the top one there. You click it, and then it'll give you the full list. You click on the actual names of it. They're highlighted. It's a hyperlink. It'll take you to the gameplay that we provided that we could find. So this now provides us more time to talk about ourselves, which I hope you enjoy more. Instead of us just reading off of lists, which is not, I don't think, fun for everybody. So, yeah, I kind of enjoyed this episode. It went a little long for our first half of an episode. It may not go this long normally, but since it is the last episode of this month, we have some room when it comes to storage to burn, just FYI. So, It's pretty exciting. Gary, what do you have? What are you going to be doing until the next episode we record?
Well, that's a damn good question. I really was trying to think about playing through KOTOR again because I started thinking about this list and I'm like, damn, I could really go for playing that game, but I don't know. We'll see about that. But I'll be playing Battlefield 1. I've been loving the hell out of that game. It's just so addictive, so simple to kind of just pick up and play. Let me think. Oh, well, I'll probably be looking at what we're going to be talking about in our next Tuesday episode, a new topic. But that's about it, though. It's nothing too crazy happening, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah. Well, what I plan on doing, if you wanted to know, I plan on playing more of that Pokemon Links or Duel Links because it's kind of like fun, maybe some Hearthstone here and there, but also more importantly, sometime this week I will be releasing, hopefully soon. I need to find time to play this game, which I'm probably going to do after I finish recording, hopefully, if I have time. But time flies by. But I'm going to be recording a review of Earthlock Festival of Magic, which I got thanks to the developer Snowcastle Games. So I'll be reviewing that, putting up a quick audio podcast for that game. I don't want to go into it right now because that'll spoil it, and no one likes spoilers, am I right? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But that has been Two Jersey Kids. Thank you so much for staying here and following us through all our favorite games for this random half episode, which will continue in the future. But if you are a continued listener, we appreciate you so much. We love you all so much. You don't understand how much we love seeing everybody listening to this show. So please hit that subscribe button if you enjoy it, which I hope you do, because why would you still be here if you didn't enjoy us talking? Because that would make no sense. If you're a new listener, please hit that subscribe button as well. I just realized, never mind, I'm not going to go into what I just realized. But if you're a new listener, hit that subscribe button and also share us with your friends, because why wouldn't you want to share our gloriousness with all your folks? I mean, really, we are fucking fantastic. But remember to follow us on Twitter at Two Jersey Kids. And if you want to tweet us questions for this episode, please do. And also, you can email us at twojerseykids@gmail.com. Very simple. Just at Gmail. It's our Twitter handle, just at Gmail. Simple. You got it. Tweet us something you want us to talk about, something you want us to debate, because I'm sure me and Gary will end up on opposite sides. Funny how that works. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Gary, what do you have to say before we go?
It's been a lot of fun. I actually like doing this, like I said in the beginning. I like doing this episode more because I kind of just sit here and just kind of talk, not have to really think too much into the news or whatever list we're looking at. So it's just more fun to kind of
into it.
Precisely.
With love.
Just kind of get to speak from my heart, so to speak. So anyway, it's been fun. I can't wait to see you guys again on our Friday episode, which will be the usual Friday episode where we talk about the news. So peace out as always.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here. We love you all. Keep playing those games. Bye.